Ask Mel is brought to you by International Cricket Tours. ICT specialise in delivering overseas cricket holidays with a personal touch. So whether it's Ashes, Sri Lanka or New Zealand, if you're thinking about following England abroad this winter, look no further than International Cricket Tours.
So after day 2 of the second test at Edgbaston, that's the one, between England and India, it's time to ask Mel. Andrew Frank kicks us off with, is George okay? George who?
Of course George isn't okay. I mean, he tells the same jokes all the time. I think he should change his deodorant. He's got a weird thing about germs.
And Chris Wokes.
No, that's actually okay.
Well, I think
no,
it's
that's
still
okay.
I think the level it's gone to is weird.
Now, of course he's okay. He's on holiday. He's allowed to have a holiday, but it's really not okay. He'll be back. Don't worry. He'll be back. I know I'm a poor substitute, but he'll be back.
Well, I'm a poor substitute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, you've
been here before. Good. Well, we got through that just about with enough sincerity. Let's go through some actual questions. Some actual questions here. So Nikarika Rihanna asked.
Oh, Naharika.
Naharika.
Lovely Naharika. Hello.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we're only doing one take. Gil made 269. A coded yet loud statement that the Prince is ready to take over from the King's mantle. I think we know who the King is, but should we, just in case for anyone at home, that's Virat Kohli. See, nearly a Freudian slip and nearly a bad joke.
Oh, it was nearly, but you pulled it out of the fight. I absolutely. I think that is the only possible reason that Shimron Gill, just after playing the short ball so beautifully all day, just palmed it off to Ollie Pope so tamely. Now, of course, he was just a bit tired, but that is clearly it. He saw that 269 and thought, I'm paying the tribute. What great innings, though. I mean, to have had the concentration he did, he hardly played a full stroke the entire innings. And it was just such an important moment for him to do it when you look at the great position that India found themselves in twice at Headingley. For him to do it here, I just think that was the moment he really needed to stand up. And as it turned out, not just stand up and score runs, but on the flip side of it, grind England down mercilessly. And it kind of worked, as you saw later on in the day when they got 3 wickets so quickly.
I think in a batted, dominated era, it's so difficult to differentiate one score from another. Why is one score of 269 in this instance so much better than one that even might be higher, one that might be lower? And I think you look at there's one way of looking at that, is the fact we were looking up at one point today, when did England last get a direct hit run out? Because that at one point felt like England's only method of dismissal that was really on the table as far as getting this guy out. He was absolutely phenomenal. The idea of sort of chanceless and poised, and he put such a high value on his wicket, which is, well, we can perhaps get to what Harry Brooke was doing later, which is such something we shouldn't take for granted. I don't think the way he batted it was outstanding.
There were times when they had just a perfect field set, and Josh Tongue in particular, he was bowling to that field, but there would be the smallest gap and he would just pick it out, and because he was timing it so well and his eye was in, he was just able to pick out those spots each time. So a really important innings for him, I think, at this stage. And turns out when you don't select your highest or most aggressive wicket takers, the time-honoured tradition of keeping the opposition out in the field in the heat all day and then all the next day pretty much is actually pretty effective as a wicket-taking option. So some tired minds there.
And I guess the next 3 days now are actually going to be a test of the other element. I think it's quite undeniable that he's so far started really well. It's only a couple of innings, of course. Started really well as a captain who is a high, a top 4 batter as well. Now we've got the real test of his captaincy, a test of his captaincy credentials, which ultimately he's going to play a big part, not the total part. There's a square out there that's also going to have a say. about whether India can actually win this test. I guess that's going to be sort of the next step. Kohli was able to do that. Can the Prince do that? I don't think we're quite at the coronation phase, are we yet?
No. I don't think we are. He's only young, isn't he? He's only young. He's come in. It's been a pretty sort of tough initiation so far, I think, for Shubman Gill. But who knows if he comes away with a win, especially after all of the talk before this Test match, then that'll, and hopefully it gives him sort of more heft within the India setup, because at the moment it feels like he's still earning his stripes in being able to have his team and everything else. I don't know. We don't know what it's like inside the dressing room, of course, but if he comes away with a win, that's obviously going to help.
The Cricketer's award-winning team brings our subscribers news, features and insight on county and international cricket every single day. You can try us now by signing up for £1. Yes, you heard that correctly, just £1 at thecricketer.com/digital.
Let's move on to our next question. And Bobby Smith, absolutely not a pseudonym. Is Harry Brooke the best licorice all sorts bowler in the world? No. I think best is doing sort of absurdly positioned within that question. It shouldn't even really be there. I mean, just give a flavour of what we saw from Harry Brooke today. It was a bit odd, wasn't it?
What I really loved, did you see the length of his run-up? It was like it made Shoaib Akhtar look like he came off 3 paces. He was running so far in. And what came out the other end was not quite on the Shoaib Akhtar end or scale of seam bowling, really, was it? It's Harry Brooke. The funny thing was, it was his first grown-up spell. It wasn't just 2 overs here or 3 overs there. It was a full 5 overs, and there was no new ball just around the corner with him just eating up a couple. Absolutely brilliant. The thing was, we talked about Shubman Gill and the fact that it was virtually pretty much chanceless until he got out. Well, Harry Brooke did what no one else was really able to do, and that was get a genuine edge from Shubman Gill. The only problem was they didn't have any slip in, and that little ball just went really fine for 4, and that brought up his 250. Poor Harry Brooke on the ground, could not believe it. He could have added Shubman Gill to Kane Williamson, and then he would have been absolutely unbearable in the dressing room, I'm sure.
I haven't seen anyone run so faster than they've been bowling since I used to bowl for like Ashton under 16s. Just astonishing stuff. As I say, he was bowling from beyond where the sponsors marked. So at one point, starting off his run up from behind where the sponsors are at each end. It was astonishing, and I don't know whether it was the last throw of the dice or the next throw. It was an odd one from Ben Stokes. I guess he was just looking for something. That's kind of where England got to with Shubman Gill and Washington and all that middle order who sort of took the game, maybe has taken the game away from.
I mean, they tried everything. Like Ben Stokes tried everything. We were talking about it. It looked like the old, Test cricket Test match cricket board game board, where you would just basically toss up all the fielders and see where they land. He tried everything, so you can't fault him for that. And if that includes a few overs of Harry Brooke trundlers, Shoaib Akhtar style rockets, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just nice to see everyone get a go, wasn't it? It was a little bit like that, wasn't it, at school days? Anyway, George Young asks, have India got enough runs this time? I think there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek work there, but I think it is worth noting where this score kind of sits. It is the highest innings against a Stokes McCullum team. It is higher than the score that England replied to when they scored 299 against New Zealand. I don't know how much whether that's in India's minds or not, but it does feel. What's our sense on actually where the score is? Maybe before England went 3 down, 7-7 for 3. They've ended it down.
Before they went 3 down, I turned to my colleague, the great Rory Dollard, and said they could be 100 for 1 by the close of play. We still had like 21 overs or something at that point. And you thought, it could be. You just don't know. And then then one did go down, then three were down very quickly, and it obviously looks very, very unlikely. And this will test the whole, we don't do draws, we can still win this. And Jeetan Patel afterwards was all very, you've all laughed at me before, but of course we'll just find another way to win. And I admire that positivity. They have conceded more than 500 on 3 previous occasions and gone on to win the game. So I just never, every time you think they are done and dusted, there are times when they do come back. So I don't know, I'm just prepared to enjoy the next 3 days. Logic tells you they're done and the best they can hope for is a draw. But it's just not how they play, is it? Logic be damned.
But I think they're done. I think they're done in the sense that because they're 77 for 3, not because they conceded 580 odd. It's very. I don't think it's unforeseeable that 580 would have played 560, and we'd been here on, Saturday afternoon, maybe even later, thinking, what on earth are we going to write about on Sunday?
Unless Root and Brooke on a flat pitch tomorrow go out and both score big hundreds.
They do what they did in Pakistan. Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah.
So that's where I just go. I'm never willing to write them off, even though logic, be damned, says so.
Just one on Harry Brooke. Did he bowl better or bat better today?
Well, there's one bit where when he was trying to get out of the way of the bat ball that almost hit his stumps. That was brilliant. I love Harry Brooke. What a day he's had.
He has quite a day out.
He actually at that point looked like a bowler who was batting.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But yeah, look, who knows? It was swinging more, a new ball, definitely. We hadn't seen it swing like that, I don't think, since Stokes was bowling early on in this test match, and it was nipping about as well. So they made the most of it, got those 3 wickets more than England was able to get with the new ball. So but who knows? Once it starts flattening out, it gets very soft, that ball, and it's pretty flat here.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, we're gonna kick off with our final question. We're not going to kick off with it. We're going to end with our last question because we don't want to start this all over again. Reece Benjamin has asked, "Is this the worst day of the Stokes McCullum era?" I think this is a little bit. I think he's gone a little bit early here. I don't think it was as bad as what I covered a lot of the tests in the winter, particularly in Pakistan when they were bowled out for 112. It was quite bad then, and they really were trying to actively lose inside 3 days. I don't think this is the worst day, but where was it from your perspective?
I don't think it was the worst day. I think it was a really difficult day in very tough conditions where they tried everything. Some of it, I thought that spell, that the 10 overs around lunch that Josh Tongue bowled might have been, although I know he took those tail end wickets, but I actually thought that might have been the best he's bowled in this series so far, and he was pushing his speeds right up there. There were periods like that where I thought they were doing well enough, but they've had worse. I'm sure they've had worse, and let's wait and see. It's only day 2. It's only day 2.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of time.
How many days in a test match?
I'm very happy to come back to this question in 2 days, and we can happily re-answer it. I think I made this point to you earlier in the day. Like, there are lots of routes on the way to a really, really bad England cricket performance, and we didn't actually stop off at many of them. Lots of drop catches, lots of bad decisions in the field, lots of crazy bowling changes. We didn't actually get that many of those. And when it came to the batting, there weren't that many. I mean, apart from Harry Brooke, who had a lot of fun, let's put it that way, had a great day out, as we've already said. Actually, there were some quite good balls in there, and there was some good bowling. And even Chris Woke said on day 1 that England could have had India 30 for 3 in a similar position to what Pakistan had them. So I don't think this was a bad day, just, clearly suboptimal.
And in the interest of finishing off on a terrible pun, there may be many routes to an England defeat, but maybe there's one route to a victory. On you, Joe. Made you laugh. Yeah. That was in honour of George. Bad puns.
Okay, it was more I was just committed. I just wanted to be committed to the bit, I think.
You want to be committed. I want to be committed. That's me done.